Go ahead and get things kind of switched over here, chat. The fat cat. Well, it is the screaming cat. So there's cats all over the place, and two giant beer casks. Let me switch some stuff around. But yeah, as far as the podcast goes today, guys, the big thing today's main topic point I'm gonna be going over is laying out an idea for a player hosted event, which I would really like some feedback from the community on. Also, be discussing the recent growth in the community where we've been seeing an upswing in the player base, which is a really good thing. And I would like to hear some feedback on how we can hopefully, continue to help see that grow. Because as you know, we all want to see more people on the server, and we have been seeing the numbers steadily go up, which is a plus. We've even been seeing more people during NA times, kind of like last night. At a late hour, it was holding it around a little over 400 people, which that's real good considering most times it's well below 200. Or I've seen nights where it's well below 200 people for NA, so that is a plus to see it on that. But the floor will also be open to people to bring up other topics and discussing points. So that being said, let me get things all put together. Let me pull Karis in here. Hello, hello, testing. Hello. Okay, let me make sure I got the Discord. Say something now. Make sure it's coming across the stream. Okay, and let me fix it. Yep, I'm setting it to where it'll stay with the VOD too. That way, when I edit it later to save it on the YouTube, your voice will be on there too. It won't just be just the live feed. But there we go, all set. Stream can hear you. But yeah, this is my
It's
first.
gonna be oh, go ahead, go ahead.
But this is my first podcast back at the helm, guys. In a while, so bear with me as it has been a hot minute. Normally, Karis has been holding the fort down for me, which I'm greatly appreciative. So anybody missed any of the episodes that were running under his watch, those are still available to be watched. You can catch them on the thread that's on the forums, or you can hit up his channel and smash the link for his YouTube channel and go watch them there. I still highly suggest doing that anyway. He makes a lot of good content on his videos, and he does a lot of his own stuff in his own right. So definitely worth meandering on over there and checking them out. Let me throw out a shout out
I will
there.
put a link. Here we go. Thank you.
There's a shout out, and then there's a link to his YouTube right there. So definitely check him out, guys. See what all he's got to offer. He does a lot of commentary videos on movies and other topics. So he's always got something going on. But again, big shout out to Karis for doing what he did for me while I was away. keeping the show going on. So I guess the first real
Well, one
top.
quick second.
Oh, go
Let me
ahead.
just say real quick. Let me say real quick that I've said this before, but I appreciated you asking me, and I was happy to do it, and I had some fun with it. So, but it's also good to have you back, and there we go.
Uh, well, I'm glad you stepped up and did it. As far as me being back, we'll see, cause I got some stuff brewing that might knock me out again. I don't know yet. So I'll go as much as I can and play it by ear. We'll see. But the show will go on as it must, whether I'm here or not. That's my mindset to it. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about, and this may be of interest to you, Karis, because I've talked to you before about it, is player hosted events. I talked to some of the staff, ran an idea past them. They're not objecting to it, and since they gave me the blessing on the previous one, they're okay with me planning another one. It's just gonna be a little while. But what would you think of another NA NA time-based player hosted event? Something to help elevate and draw attention to the NA side of the server. EU looks pretty good right now. I mean, the numbers have been on the upswing. We've had some steady days where it's been well up over 1,000 players during EU hours. NA's been slowly starting to creep up there, but I'd like to give it some more help. Plus, a number of people have been saying, yeah, it'd be nice to see some more player hosted events. So, so
I,
I'm
I, I mean, I'd be all for that. Uh, I feel exactly as you do. Anything that would help boost server population, particularly in a prime time, would be would be welcome. And I have to qualify my comments though, in that lately I haven't been playing or streaming as much as I once did. So the exact numbers I can't really speak to. It's just that when I do log on, sometimes in a prime time is like riding through a ghost town, and the only, as we talked about during the last podcast when Tosh was on, the only place you can find any fighting is at Martyr Square. that's
no,
that's pretty much it.
you're quite right, and people have expressed that, and that's why I'm trying to see if I can put something together. And as I pointed out to some people, because some people thought, oh, you're trying to say you're a one-person hero to the server. Nope, far from it. I'm just stubborn enough to want to try. That's all.
Somebody actually said that
Yeah,
they
yep,
think that you thought you're a one-person hero to the server.
yep. I
God,
had that. I
there are some real morons who hang out here, man. I swear.
I had that said, and I was like, no, you don't know me too well. Got nothing to do with that. I don't care about me. Not about me. Uh, but it is what it is. People are gonna think what they want to think. You know that as well as I do.
Well, I've been on the server long enough that I reached the point where I thought nothing would surprise me anymore. But that did. That somebody would actually make a comment like that about you. That's just that's a whole new level of stupid, man. I swear.
Yeah. When I heard it, I was just like, yeah, okay. Um, no comment. But it is what it is on that front. Like I've told others, my worry is I'm gonna do what I think to try to help the server. If people want to join me on that adventure, by all means. Again, it's not about me. I'm not doing it looking for reward or anything else. It's about the other people that's on the server. I've talked to Whiskey, kind of picking his brain on things. I'm trying to reach out to other streamers, get them on board because obviously it'll help promote it. I'm gonna try and reach out to some other streamers outside the community. Obviously, word of mouth is the best way to advertise the server. We've seen that in the past. It works. Uh, Obviously, it's not just the streamers. Those of you in the community that play, tell your friends. Yes, the server has its pros and cons. Let's try and concentrate on the pros. Of late, we've seen a number of new streamers, as I was saying earlier. Here during NA, I've seen a lot of new streamers that have not ever streamed the game before. They've been asking a lot of questions they don't know, and I've seen a lot of people that are trying to help them. That's a plus. That's what we want. We want positive reinforcement. We want people to have a positive feel of the server. Yes, the server has its drawbacks. We all know this. But let's not focus on solely just that to the detriment of the server.
Well, I have two suggestions.
Go ahead, by all means.
When you talk about, at some event in NA prime time to help build up population, um, I think at this point, for it to be really effective, is that, and I'm just using this as an example. I mean, this is just an example of the theory I'm putting out, is that you would have a player hosted event where the rewards could only be earned during a certain time frame, notably in a prime time. Now, I can already, a lot of people won't agree with that, but I think if you want to build population in a prime time and have it in a prime time event, then it needs to be restricted to NA prime time to help promote NA prime time. To me, that's a logical circle, right? So if, say, you were going to do double renown, or if you were going to get a renown bonus of some sort for accomplishing a particular task, you could only accomplish that task during NA prime time to get the reward. Now, I'm just using renown as an example. It could be, it could be anything, any reward that they might want to put in. But because if you open it up, if you're going to have an event to promote NA prime time, but the rewards are open to be gained at any time during the day, then that's exactly what's going to happen. And it's not going to do any good.
Yeah.
So
It's I'll make the pitch on that idea. I mean, because I will send a copy of this to the devs, just like I've done with previous stuff. It's not a bad idea, and again, the main focus is to boost the NA side of the server. As I said, the EU playtimes, we've seen an upswing in the player base, which is a good thing. We want it to continue. I'll make the suggestion, see what the powers that be say. Ultimately, they may feel, hey, it's just easier to leave it running all through the event, like what they did with the last one. Which, with the last one, when they left it running all through the event, it did keep it going all through the night. I will give it credit through that. But what really helped egg it on and kept it going, motivating, is having the streamers there to keep people focused on the night action. So that's where I gotta talk to some streamers. That way we can help keep the focus on the NA side. I want the attention to be focused on NA, not the daytime. Yes, the daytime will get its coverage, but I want attention primarily on NA, which is why I've already talked to some of the guilds, some of the EU guilds that are willing to play during NA times. I'm like, could use some help from you guys. NA needs help.
well, I guess I've been thinking about it as you were talking, and I suppose one of the most easy and effective uh, eh, resolutions here would be to do a Twitch drop event that was only active for NA prime time, like
Mm,
6 hours a day. That's when the Twitch drops would be in effect. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the programming. Computer programming was never my thing. Um, but there would have to be a way to do it. Just turn it on and off for a
you
particular time of day.
yeah,
You know.
you can. Yeah, I've seen it done in some in other with other Twitch shops where they can turn it on at certain times of the day. So it can be done. Uh, it's a question of how the community as a whole would react. And the only problem I'd foresee there is you'd almost certainly see the EU side of the community get into an uproar because of the fact
Yeah. Well,
they
you know,
I'm
if they
playing.
care, if they actually care anything about the game and anything about the server, then they'll shut up and let it go through.
I get that
Instead
too.
of right.
Yeah, well, I get that. I'm just playing devil's advocate because of how it would be perceived. You know as well as I do how people think. But yes, if they cared, they would be more focused on the simple fact this being done to help the server as a whole, not just me type mindset. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean,
So
just flip the coin. If
yeah,
let's say if the devs came out, not, I don't think they're going to do this. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that if the devs came out and say, okay, we're going to have an event that is only active from noon to 6 Eastern Standard Time, which is more or less European prime time, right? I wouldn't bitch about it.
but
Um, you know, if it's going to help the server, then I try to get on and play during that time. That's what I would do. I would try to get on and play during that time, which means that the event would be accomplishing its goal. Okay, well, the same thing is true for North American prime time. If they're going to have an event that is only active during North American prime time, people will try to get on and play during that time, which is right.
yeah,
The end result. So it's one of those the end justifies the means
yeah, I get it. I mean,
events.
it boils down to where you're gonna people would have to be willing to make a sacrifice at some point for the greater good. Basically, be willing to set aside, the idea that oh, it's all about me, what I want versus what's for the betterment of the whole. In this case, the one thing you hear out of a lot of people is how do we increase the player population? This is something that would go towards the long term of increasing the population, but the player base has got to understand they gotta give some ground on that front, and I think a lot of people, honestly, there's a lot that don't really want to do that because it boils down to human greed.
My second suggestion. Oh,
Sadly.
go ahead. Yeah, my second suggestion.
Go ahead.
The, the devs, the devs are going to hear this. I can see their faces already, but whatever. Um, bring back Realm Watch. You know, let me do Realm Watch again. I had a blast with it, and uh, they need to crank that up again, man.
Honestly,
And
I could agree with because that would help promote the server with the fights that go on, and it would be nice to see that again. The only other thing I could say that would help would Realm Watch, and I made this comment to you once before, is you need combat cameraman on the ground so that while you're commentating from the air at periodic times, you can have one person on either side that you can flip to from their perspective or whatever, and get a like a battlefield report like you have your field reporter that you can jump to at a moment's notice and be on the scene. You follow?
Yeah.
Because people would love to react to that. It puts you on the scene at the action, and you could be commentating to it.
Give me one quick second. I need to talk to my son. I'll be right back.
Not a problem. So, but that's some of the things that that's one of the things I'm wanting to work on, guys. I've started putting things to get together. I would really love to get some feedback on it, guys. Uh, really would. Let me put out a message here. Oh, I put
Well,
out some.
I'm sorry. Like I said, my son came in and asked me a question. So,
No worries.
um, but on that subject, um, Realm Watch was, I always looked at it as neutral ground, and this is a very important point. Again, just in case anybody who might have the authority to make such a decision, actually hears this. I always considered Realm Watch neutral ground. In other words, when I was streaming and when I was doing Realm Watch, um, I was running it off the Return of Reckoning server, or I'm sorry, the Return of Reckoning Twitch page, right? So I was using the Return of Reckoning Twitch page and not
Yeah.
my own. Therefore, I respected the fact that I was on someone else's Twitch page. And so I never got into any controversial topics. I just had fun, and I just broadcast the game. And I tried to do it in using the sports analogy as much as possible. And, I made jokes and stuff like that, but I just tried to have fun with it. And because I thought that was always the best way to promote anything. The most effective means to promote anything is to make other people think, or to make other people realize that, all right, those guys are having fun. Whatever it is they're doing, they're really having fun. And people want to have fun. They want to be part. They want to become a part of, okay, I want to do that too, If it, and, um, it's, and, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say this because it's true. There aren't that many people that can take a format like Realm Watch and pull it off, make it work. Now, there are others who could do it for sure, but it's a format that I've already proven that I can work with and be successful at it. And the only reason that it went down the drain was because there were some people on the server at the time that hated the fact that I was having fun with it so much. They hated it so much that I was having fun. They had to come in and destroy it. And it's no secret who was the prime among that particular cadre. But they should bring it back, man, because a lot of those people are gone now. A lot of those people are no longer on the server, and they should bring it back. So that's my 2 cents.
Oh, I get you. And it's the whole reason I'm basing doing this player hosted events because I had people asking me as soon as I got back online after being gone for a while. Said, "Hey, are you going to do another player hosted event?" The last one was a big hit, and it really helped out the server. And I had people from both sides, Destro and Order, asking me and volunteering to help. I mean, I've had guilds step up and say, "Dude, we had a blast. It's the most fun we've had. Can you do another one?" I'm like, I don't mind. It takes me time to put together. So this one, I'm gonna see if I can work it for the holidays. It might be right around the Christmas holidays. I don't know yet. I'm not gonna, don't quote me on that because it takes a lot of effort. I got a lot of stuff going on. Uh, Plus anything I do has to be cleared by the staff, because I have to make sure it doesn't conflict with anything they're about to release. And I know there's things coming, so uh, that's all I can say on that front. But there is stuff in the pipeline. But again, chat, if there's anything any of you would like to bring to the table, uh, feel free to put your info in on it.
I'm taking a moment here to.
I see what you're saying, Tosh. My big thing is, I'm basically, in a nutshell, I'm pretty much going around talking to people to see who's willing to help do things. From the biggest thing I end up doing is asking streamers who would volunteer to maybe showcase it on their streams. If they say no, they say no. I think last time I got 3. It was me, Great Book, and Prop Oreo, and then a couple of the regulars that showcased it on their stream, just to help spread the word, spread the word on the server. It just, in times past, I have gone to other streamers in the community and have asked them, hey, would you want to be in on it? And a lot have just simply said no. They do their own thing and then they leave. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I get what you're saying, and it's.
Well, I like. Wait, first, am I on?
Yes.
I had a mic. Okay,
Go
I had
ahead.
a mic malfunction there for a moment. Um, and it's good to see Tosh in the stream. And Tosh doesn't typically stream events-based stuff. I don't think he really have paid that much attention to it, which is fine. But some of the event, depending on which event is going on, I suppose, there are a couple of not all events are equal, right? And there are a couple of them that I think are particularly stream worthy, and there are a couple of them that aren't. But the best event that the server has ever done, is when, I can't remember the name of it right now, but when you can invade the opposite city, right? When you can invade the other guy's city at any time. That stuff was just amazing. I mean, that stuff was just amazing. It was, and that's the type of event that the server needs. Because it's variety. And I've talked about this before when I was, hosting your stream for you. I tried to make this point on practically every episode, that stagnation kills, but variety is the spice of life. And so, there has to be something different every now and then to bring people in, to keep people's attention. And the server has moments, man. The server has moments where they embrace that philosophy. Excuse me. I'll say that again. The server has moments where they embrace that philosophy. But then the server has other moments where it's like they give that philosophy the middle finger. And so the inconsistency, that's out of our hands, I suppose, buddy. But again, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
It's fair. It's a fair point. I mean, we all have different opinions and different motivations for why we play this game. That's why I go around and I ask streamers if they're interested in helping with the events that I try to plan, because one, I I want to keep coverage of it, and two, it helps out their channels. But ultimately, a streamer's their own person. They're gonna do what they want to do. I can't make them do anything. Uh, you know, so it's it's all about me trying to coordinate stuff between the players as a whole, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't mean I'm gonna give up and just not try anything else. No, it just means I'll change things up and come up with a new formula. Uh, I'm probably this event will probably be another tier 1 event because that's what people seem to want the most. Plus, I'm taking into account a lot of the new streamers I've seen in their communities are mostly new people uh, that are wanting help, or you know, there it's the interaction. Oh, I know, Tosh.
All right.
I'm not saying anything against what you're saying, dude. Don't get me wrong. I get that. I that's fine, dude. And I understand it because I know what you mean. I'm just explaining it so anyone else listening understands. It's we all have our different ways of doing things. Is all. We each play this game and stuff for our own reasons. Be it to kick back, relax, get away for a little bit. Be it a streamer or non-streamer, whatever. Uh, at the end of the day, all I can really do is just ask people and leave it at that.
I had a thought, and
You lost it.
I'm watching Deadpool
Oh
on
boy.
my other screen. On my other screen over here, I'm watching
Oh
Deadpool.
oh Lord.
Um,
No
so
no 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 Deadpool jokes, please. Please, no Deadpool
uh,
jokes. I can't handle Ryan Reynolds today.
um, give me a moment here. Uh,
So
I'm
I
reading
will
Tosh's comment, but
yeah. I will say this, guys. The tier 1 event is not the only
oh, that
thing.
was it. That was
Yeah.
it. That was it. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Thank you. It does seem I have noticed that lately or recently, Tier One does seem to be have grown has grown in popularity, right?
Mm.
A lot of people seem to be having fun in Tier. I haven't played in Tier One in so long, but it does seem that a lot of people are down there. And we talked about a couple weeks back. We talked about the fact that somebody brought up a thread on the forums about creating a Tier One block so that you could stay in Tier One forever if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad idea, but we talked about all that before.
Yeah.
But it does seem a lot of people are having a lot of fun. So if they want to if you can organize a Tier One event, that's all good too.
Well, that's I pulled off the one tier 1 event once before, a couple of months right before I moved. So I'm putting together this one. I'm also uh, revamping my tier 2, tier 3 idea, but that one is going to take pretty much the whole of the server to pull that one off because it's going to require people playing on tunes that are hopefully not 40. I want to run the idea past the powers that be of maybe doing a weekend event where we do a server wide uh, debolster that basically just drops you from 40 to the mid tier, so it keeps it even across the board for one weekend. And I've run this idea past a number of guilds who have been amenable to it. The only ones that really the only people that have not liked the idea is pretty much the hotheads that are bent on wanting to farm lobies. And fortunately, I know most of who they are, and I'm like, I don't really care. Most of the guilds that I've mentioned it to are like, they like the idea. They would love to have a tier 2, tier 3 event, so that new and upcoming players could go from like a tier 1 event to a tier 2, tier 3 event, so that they could be helped through it, and actually, for a change, there be that mid-tier event that a lot of the server has been craving for a good long while. I know for at least the last 6 months, I've listened to people say they would love to see something mid-tier. So I am trying to put that in the works. Probably won't be till after the first of the year before I can get it submitted. But
I mean,
that I'm gonna go ahead and lay it out here so you guys can be churning on this, because I'm gonna submit it to the devs when I send all this in. The idea is to keep the fighting to tier 2, tier 3. Both sides will divvy up, and the idea is to each side have a designated leader. Now, the idea is for the staff to get in on this, in regards that somebody in the staff will basically be there to basically keep an eyeball on the leader. Each leader, commander, however you want to look at it, will have their little entourage. They will move around between the tier 2, tier 3 zones, pretty much constantly moving, or they can stay stationary, their choice. But in order to win the event, the opposing side has to either, and this is the challenge, would be to either mock up, capture the opposing leader, or to outright kill them and their party. So in order to achieve that, say something could be put in place to where it be like a little icon could be put in place, like the blue marker, like you're holding a box or a red box, whichever, for that immediate party, so that the rest of the opposing faction would know, hey, this is the target group. It'd make it a challenge, so whoever that group is going to have to be their A game to handle what comes, because it's not just going to be them. They would have this supporting faction around them, but it would also require a lot of coordination. But at the
do you,
same time that you're fighting to do that, it's also based on taking the BOs and capturing the keeps that go along with it.
do you remember? Let me ask you real quick. Uh, I seem to recall an event on the server where there was like an altar run. You'd pick up an altar at one of the keeps, and then you'd have to run it all the way, I think, back to the other keep or to some other point on the map. That was Return of Reckoning, right? Wasn't that about 3 or 4 years ago?
They're I believe so. Thereabouts. Sounds about right. I want to say
Yeah.
vaguely.
And then if you made it, if your side made it, your realm got a temporary stat boost or something like that, or experience gain, whatever it was that you got a temporary boost in something. And then after a certain amount of time, the altar would show up at the other keep, and the other side could run. I that's I enjoyed that one. I remember running in some of those groups.
There was an event.
Uh,
There was an event with that where you pick up an item and run it from like from Reekland to Chaos Waste through a couple of zones. I can't remember the name of the event. I know what you're talking about though, but yes.
well,
Same principle, and that's
yeah.
actually where I started tinkering with the idea. But I would love to do it for tier 2, tier 3, mid tier. But to make it work, keep it fair. Excuse me, not fear. Fair. It would mean for a weekend, for 3 days, people would have to not the 40s would have to stay out of the equation, or it would not be fair. You would have decked out players crushing everything below them. That's the
Well, that
only
would be
thing.
easy. That would be easy enough to address. You just turn the chicken thing on.
Well, that
Anybody
that
ranked 40,
yeah,
anybody ranked 40 goes into tier 2 or tier 3 for the duration of that event, gets chickened out.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, but at the
oh,
same time, some people might not have mid-tier tunes, so
well, it
that's
doesn't.
why that's why I was contemplating if it could be
Yeah, but
arranged that we could do a debulster. Otherwise, the only other thing I would suggest is people could just simply level a character for the event.
well, and anymore, it doesn't take. You can create a character and get
Yeah,
to tier 2 in an afternoon.
yeah, that's
I mean,
that's true too. So
and
honestly, the easiest way is I would just simply plan it far enough out, make the announcement, and say, look, here's the date. If you want to be in on the event, go ahead and start leveling your tune and be prepping for it. Would probably be the easiest route to go. But I after talking with both sides, the people on both sides that I've talked to, they like the idea of having a commander and his entourage, with the idea of making it, adding that challenge that they're roving around and you have to find them and basically either kill or capture type deal.
well, let me draw another corollary here. Uh, I remember, again, this was a few years back, and there was an event that was held on the server, and it wasn't Pug Bowl, but it was a debolstered event for lower. It was marketed. Okay, it was marketed for lower level tunes, and it was a 6v6 tournament of some kind, right? And at that time, my White Lion was I was still leveling my White Lion, right? So I was like, I don't know, I was in the mid 40s on renown, and um, that was the sphere of influence that it was set up for. You couldn't be no one could participate that had with any gear higher than Vanquisher, I think it was.
Yeah.
Um, and it was marketed. The whole thing was marketed for lower ranking tunes. And so I show up on my White Lion and thinking, okay, people are going to be here on their alts and all that. People are going to be here on their lower ranking tunes. But no, it was all the usual suspects who had just gone back and pulled out their Vank gear, and all the down rank 80s and 70s and 80s, uh, which to me just spoiled the event. And that's another. And the next time that event came around, I didn't pay it any mind because I knew exactly how it was going to go. But that's why I support, one of the reasons I support your idea better of having a mid-tier event, a tier tier 2 and 3 event that's restricted to people who can actually function in tier 2 and 3. And anybody experienced rank 40 and above can't come in under any circumstances. That would be my wish. That if you're experienced, if you've hit rank 40 experience, I don't care how much you deboster your gear or whatever, you can't come in. So that would be my only, and I think that would be fun. And like I said, it would if somebody doesn't have it, just like you said a minute ago, if somebody doesn't have a tier 2 or 3 tune, it doesn't take that long to level one. So
Well, as talking about it now, the easiest way around that would be simply people could just create a tune and level it specifically for that event. And the easiest way to do that is just simply plan it far enough out, give them the date of when the event would be, so that they have time to prepare for it, so they could just simply have a tune ready for it when it starts. So that would solve that problem very easily.
yeah,
Would be the easiest way to go about it. The only reason I don't want the 40s involved in it is because after the previous tier 1 events that I've seen, is People have a bad habit of wanting to bring geared tunes and smash lower levels. I don't want that. I don't want to see veteran players or otherwise anyone coming in with the intent of running off new players. We don't need that. We're seeing an upswing in new players coming in, enjoying themselves. I want to build on that. We want more people to come in and stay to play long term, not leave. We don't need that. It's it's been a constant issue. Tosh has talked about this. We've always had a player retention issue where we'll get a boost of players and then most of them leave because of that very issue or one reason or another. But the point is they don't stay. And like what I've taken to doing here at night is these newer guys that I'm seeing. I try to explain things to them, give them information that helps them out so they understand how things work, so they're not running blind into things. That's what's needed. This bit of wanting to keep info to yourself just because so you can basically bully people, that's got to stop. I mean, I get some of you guys don't want to hear it. You're like, well, I went through it. Okay, I don't care if you went through it. I'm not making light of it, but I'm saying some point you've got to draw a line in the sand and say, break the cycle. If you want to make change, you've got to start somewhere. I've been listening to people on both sides, and I guess I'm just the person that's stubborn enough to actually come out here and say what a lot of people are thinking. I'm not saying, oh, I'm the one that's got the idea. That's not it. I'm simply the one that's outspoken enough to step into the light and say it. I know Tosh has said stuff. I know Karis is outspoken and said his piece. There's lots of people that have given, made their voices heard. So I'm not trying to claim that, oh, I'm the only one. I'm the voice. That's not it, guys. Just to be clear. I just am real good about going and listening to what the community says, and then I will flat out say it and like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go say something to the devs. I just simply don't care what happens afterwards as far as what gets said to me personally. It doesn't faze me because I'm not going to back down.
Well, that's the, the one constant of the Return of Reckoning universe, or I should say, one of the constants of the Return of Reckoning universe, has been your devotion to trying to make it a better place, and that's how I've always sort of viewed your efforts. In that you're doing what you can to try to make it a better place. And I'll just, I mean, I'll just say it again. I'll be polite about it, but anybody out there who uh, wants to try to promote a theory that you're doing it for some other reason, they're just idiots, man. There's not much you can say for them, because one of the things that's always struck me about you from the first time, way back in the day when you first started streaming, and one thing that struck me about you was, you're just kind of one of those straightforward, what you see is what you get kind of guys. You're not hard to figure out, and I don't mean that as an insult.
No, I get you.
That's a compliment. You're not hard to figure out. You kind of just, you just put yourself out there, and people would have to try, which implies a hidden agenda, to misconstrue what it is you're doing. So, um, for whatever it's worth to whoever hears this, that's one of the reasons I've always done what I can to try to support you, because you're one of the guys on the server that deserves it. Uh, so Now I feel like quoting Ezekiel 25:17.
I get you. I see what Tosh is saying too. Tosh is saying for change, this is how I feel about it. The players who are newish or players that are more casual do want change. They just don't have the fortitude to fight for it, so they leave. The people that don't want change do have the fortitude to fight to keep it. So I get what you're saying with that, and that's true, Tosh. I've seen that play out time and time again.
Oh my goodness. Um, I'm looking at the forums, which again, let me take a moment, if we have a moment here, just to.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a short little intermission, guys, because I need to step away for a minute, and that'll give Karis a little bit to pull some stuff from the forums, and I'm gonna look some stuff over too. Be mulling over what we've said so far, guys. And again, if you got ideas for player hosted events or based off of what I just said, or if you have your own ideas, please feel free to weigh in on the conversation. I encourage it because again, as soon as this podcast's over, I will be sending a copy of this to Max and them, same way I've done the others. It's what I always do, and I do talk back and forth with them. So keep that in mind, gang. I've provided an avenue for you guys to have your voice heard, even though some of you think that that's not the case. You got to try. You got to meet me halfway. I can't. I cannot do it all.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. All right.
I'm back, guys. Let me unmute Discord. Yes, we're live. We're live. We're live.
Well, there's a commercial running on my screen. Can anybody hear us? Or
Oh, they can. Hold on. Let me see.
there you go. There you go. All right, you're back.
I'm scrolling
Well,
back, seeing everything Tosh posted.
well, while you were gone, I went over and checked out the other two guys streaming Warhammer at the moment, and neither one of them ever says anything. Well, one of them did fart. I heard that, but neither one of them ever said anything, and I don't quite, I don't quite get that methodology, but I digress. All right.
Yeah, there's a lot that just stream to stream. They don't actually interact with their people at all. I've never understood that myself, but teach their own. But back to what Tosh is saying. Tosh, but if you want to join us, by all means, please do. You know you're always welcome in the voice comms. Uh,
Well, Tosh has. I mean, Tosh makes a good point when he types in,
yeah,
and
he
it's
does.
true. I, it's true that there are people that just, I could say, or you could say, or somebody else could say that uh, I saw a beautiful sunrise yesterday, and their immediate response was, "I hate sunrises." Okay, so it's it's just part of the. You're gonna find that anywhere, I
Yeah,
guess. But,
yeah. What he's saying is true. There are people like that.
oh man.
You're always gonna have people that have that mindset no matter what. I mean, you're not gonna win the battle all the time.
Yeah. Well, this is a good. I I realize that in the grand scheme of computer gaming, that our little game here is a very niche market, I should say. And most of the people who play here, I would not all, but most of the people who play here are of a certain age group, a certain age window, and consist of people who've been around for a while, who've been on a gaming circuit for a while, some who don't really want to take the time to learn all the intricacies of, say, a new MMO, only to be disappointed by that MMO. I've had that happen. I tried to play a couple, and since Return of Reckoning's been active, I've gone to a couple other MMOs, and they just don't hold my attention. One, because as Tosh pointed out one time, they've become far too easy. There's no real challenge. And that's my one complaint about Return of Reckoning over the years, is that, Return of Reckoning at one time was a challenge. It isn't anymore. Every aspect of leveling that there is to do on this server has been made easier over time. Made much more easy, I should say, over time. And that's why when I see people on the forums today complaining about the leveling process, okay, it's nothing personal, but I kind of have to laugh because there's nothing difficult about it anymore. It's just you still have to go through the process, and it still takes some time. But the true challenge of all the varied aspects of acquiring renown and experience and gear and weapons. Like I said before, you can grind through tier 1 in a few hours to get into tier 2. And you can be rank 40. And my son did it, Techno. Some people know my son,
An honor.
through his, because he used to be involved, heavily involved on the server in some of the coding and construction and all that, Techno. When he leveled his Blackguard, uh, and this was a few years back, he leveled his Blackguard. He went from 0 to 40 in 3 days. Okay. And he was fracking 13 at the time. So, what's your excuse, right? I mean, there's just some things in this game that aren't worth complaining about. And the leveling process is one of them. What is worth complaining about, or at least talking about, what is worth talking about, is the stuff that you've been bringing up, is that we need more challenge, I suppose, or we need something to garner more interest. So Tosh says, well, he did play 15 hours a day or more during that time. That's true. But it was summer, and you know, it was summer, and he was out of school. So yeah, yeah. I have to give that. And Alpheon says 40 in 3 days is easy if you just tour hardcore pre-mades and continue to run SCs. And Alpheon, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, also says one dude went from 0 to 80 in like 3 and 4 months. That once you get past rank 40, sometimes it depends. Getting to 80 can also be class dependent. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. When I getting to renown rank 80 on my witch elf was just hilariously easy. I mean, renown fell like rain. It was, it was fast. It was quick, and I made a video once where I put a segment in where I hit renown rank 70, and I put that in toward the end of the video just to show that I was progressing on my witch elf. Hell, 10 days later, I was at, just 10 days of standard gameplay. I was at renown rank 80. I couldn't believe it. So, not every class levels like that, though. Knight of the Blazing Sun. Toth is playing his Knight of the Blazing Sun right now. And I imagine that's one of the classes that it's a bit more difficult and time consuming. Would I be correct on that, Toth?
Honestly, you'd probably be better asking. I've seen some people play it,
One, two.
level it super fast. I don't get in a hurry, so I couldn't give you an honest answer on that front. I've seen some people level it just as quick. It just depends on how you play the class and if you know what you're doing. Can you hear can you hear me or no, Karis? Hold on.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I can no longer hear you. I'm assuming you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hold on. Hello? one second, chat. See what's going on here. Can you hear me now or no? Hello? Okay, apparently my Discord has gone goofy. Hold on, chat. Gotta try and fix this. Hello?
Check 1, 2.
Can you hear me or no? No. Testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Karis or no? Hello?
Da, 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 da.
Bring you another edition of Thanks, but no.
Not sure what
Okay,
happened.
okay, I got it. I got it. There you are. I figured it out.
I was going through all my sound settings, and I was like, all right, I don't know what's going on there.
So, did anybody hear my tirade about
Yeah,
leveling? Did that
yeah.
go through?
My
Okay, all right.
chat could hear you. You just couldn't hear me. Couldn't hear me that I was
No,
responding to
it
you.
wasn't. It was on my end. I figured it out. Okay. All right, but if you don't mind, real quick, when I asked about renowned rank leveling a Knight of the Blazing Sun, I'm imagining that's got to be a pain. That's got to be a lot slower. Would I be correct or not?
For me, it's been slow, but I've played with other kebabs that have done it, that leveled it pretty fast. It just depends on how they're playing it. Is what some have told me. It just depends on your play style and what groups you're running with. If you're running with a good group and you get on a real good roll with the renowned, you can level real quick.
Well, I think Knights of the Blazing Sun are a good class, and the only reason I haven't, really taken the time to play one is just the thought of leveling another tank, right? And I always have so much fun playing my Swordmaster anyway. The idea of leveling another tank, I'd rather do something else, another DPS class or something like that. But, there are some people over the years that said that Magic Thighs is one of them. The name that most often comes to mind. who once told me on my stream that that's why he quit the game, because some of the changes that were made to Knights of the Blazing Sun, he thought so crippled the class that he just quit playing, right? Um, Now, obviously, that was true for him. I can't speak for everybody, but I would think that Knights would be, if you're into tanking, I guess, that Knights would be a really good class because Knights can mitigate a lot more damage, right? And absorb a lot more damage and help. They're much better guard bots. I have to admit, they're much better guard bots than a sword master is.
Well, each tank's got their strengths and weaknesses, and like Tosh is saying, his NG was his fastest. I mean, it's all dependent on who's playing the class as to how fast they level with it. I've seen people level so many different classes so quickly. It's not even funny, and so.
I tried to play a warrior priest. I guess it's all. I mean, part of it is perception. I tried to play a warrior priest, and of course, I wanted to play two-hand warrior priest, and I kind of, I never quite caught the synergy, is what I'm saying.
Two-handed warrior priest can be really good in PvP if people would actually give it a chance. Yes, it's not. It's a lot of people instantly are like, oh, if it ain't a healer, it's useless. And I've run with two-handed DPS warrior priest, and they can bring their own uniqueness to the table, barring
Well,
what people think. And I've run with something that back in the day that made the difference. Sometimes you gotta shake things up.
Well, just because we're talking Warhammer here for a moment, for whatever it's worth, I'll give my 2 cents on playing the different classes. I think when it comes to tanks, for the order side, when it comes to order side tanks, Swordmaster is without a doubt the most fun that you can have playing a tank in any field. Whether you're playing two-hand or S&B, Swordmasters are the most fun. They provide the most potential to actually enjoying the game. So if you want to play a tank and you want to have fun and you want to enjoy the game, play a Swordmaster. When it comes to the healers, I tried a Warrior Priest. I never could get the synergy, so I kind of quit. I do have an Archmage. To me, an Archmage is an either-or. You either play full healing spec, and that's what you do is heal, or you go DPS and have fun. My Archmage is DPS, and and I have fun playing it. But I think it's just an either-or thing. Maybe some people sure could pull off both, could be both DPS and a good healer. But to me, it's one or the other. If you go healing, then you go all out, balls to the wall, healing. If you're going to play DPS, then that's what you do. You go all out. When it comes to the DPS classes for order, White Lion would be my first choice. And Shadow Warriors would be my second choice. If you're going to play a stealth class, play a Witch Elf. Witch Elves are an absolute blast. I had more fun leveling my Witch Elf and just being a sneaky little... Well, I'm on your channel, so I can't complete that, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I get what you're about to say.
I had leveling a Witch Elf. Oh my god, I had so much fun. And so if you're going to play a stealth class, play a Witch Elf. And all those questions about do Witch Elves have a warband purpose? Are they good in the war? Who cares? When it comes to playing a Witch Elf, don't worry about being in a war. You're better off not being in a war band. Trust me on this one. You're much better off not being in a war band, playing a witch elf. You can tag along behind one. You can tag along near one, right? And then you pick off the straggler, stuff like that. But don't worry. Now, 6-man's different. Witch elf, Witch elf has great utility in a 6-man, but war bands,
Restrain yourself.
just
It is your duty.
don't even worry about it. Uh, when it comes to the destruction side of the house, the most fun I've had playing any destruction class other than my witch elf, I should say, is a doc. I do have a doc. I keep my doc secret. I never stream when I'm playing my doc. I don't talk when I'm playing my doc. Nobody knows who I am when I'm playing my doc, and that's just the way I want it. But the doc class has a lot. To me, it was a lot easier to pick up the strengths, the weaknesses, the synergy, how to run it than it was for a warrior priest. Why that is, I can't tell you, but for me, playing a doc was just easier. So I've had a lot more fun with it, but those are my suggestions. No self-respecting individual would ever play a chamois.
I leveled a shaman doing the quest guides for Destro. What are you
Man.
talking about?
Well, I'm just being facetious, but all right. I was looking through the forums, buddy, and right now the forums are kind of really lacking on stuff worth talking about.
Oh, I know. It's not been a lot. There hasn't been a lot said. That's why this podcast was pretty much going to be a general discussion, and just whatever people wanted to bring to the table is what I was gonna allow. The main thing was me pitching the idea of some player-hosted events because people had been asking, and I was like, okay, I'll throw it out there and see what kind of feedback I get.
And I guess to wind up at the same place where we started, I do hope you get some support on that. I think the player host, especially if you're going to pull off a tier 1 event, I think that would go over really well, right? If you get a tier 1 event going, I think that would go over really well. So
yeah, the post that I made on the forums has gotten well over 200 views of it, so I know people have looked at it. Again, I'm gonna condense this down and I'll send it to the devs. I've already spoken with some of the staff on it. I'm gonna touch base with them and request a meet and kind of hammer out some details. But I've also got to talk to some streamers because if I'm gonna do it, I want to try and plan it out where hopefully we get some Twitch drops and other stuff for it, and then I want to be able to kind of pass it around the community, so that it keeps the event going, because that's what worked with the last one, is by making sure that there was coverage at all times all the way through the event. It kept it going so that there was always people talking about it, helping new people get situated, not just a streamer streaming it, but actually somebody answering questions, walking people through, hey, here's what add-ons, here's how to get the game, answering the key information that people need to know. Because one thing I've noticed with previous events is streamers worry more about just streaming it, and they don't answer a lot of questions, and then the people that do show interest are like, well, nobody's helping. And that really hurt me very badly, because I'm like, guys, come on, I know you're streaming, but seriously, if your chat asks you a question, pull your head out of what you're doing and answer.
Yeah, and I guess Tosh, if Tosh is still here, um, I think out of all the streamers that are on right now, that stream right now, I should say, and he's the best at generating conversation. Um,
Because no matter what
War,
he's doing, he'll answer
yeah,
a question.
and and particularly Warhammer conversation. He rarely gets into anything else. When I stream, I talk as much about general pop culture or current events as I do about Warhammer. Um, but you know, and then you're very responsive to your chat. But Tosh is the best at just generating conversation.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's some other people whose names I won't mention that I watch them and I think that these guys never say, and they never say a word.
I know.
I don't. They'll have like 30 people watching and they never say a word. I don't get that, man. I really don't. But whatever.
Some people, they go to a channel and all they're interested in is gameplay. I've had people tell me, man, we don't want to hear you. We just want to see gameplay. They only want to watch so they can see who they're looking for, maybe, or to either get a kill, or that's literally all they want is just action. They don't want to actually hear the stream. And I've seen that in other streams, other games. They're some people are very conceited. They're very rude. They're real quick to say, well, we don't want to hear you. We want to see what's going on. That's it.
Well, and I also realize that there are some people who come to my channel just to hear the music. Because I play, because I play good music. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I play